Okay. Hello, hello, welcome. My name is Lori Conkler. I am the founder of the Zennial Traveler Company, and I wanted to, and this channel here, but I wanted to talk about, I guess, some things that I've been seeing, conversations I've been having with a lot of people. And honestly, this has been years in the making because I've had a lot of these conversations over the years, but I see so many of you, that you're just like, you say, I want this business, I want to be successful, I want money, I want joy, I want ease, I want to enjoy my life, and I'm building this business because I think that's the way to get it. And maybe these aren't the things that like you're saying word for word, but it's like you wanted to change the world, you wanted to have an impact, you wanted to start a business to do that, but you also wanted a life. And for many of you, decided, well, I can do this. I see other people with creating this type of, ease where they have an amazing life. They get to do the things that they want. They get to do it when they want. They're also making a difference. They're making an impact. They're making good money. And I want that, right? And, I see so many people that it's just like you keep climbing, 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 thinking if I just do this next thing, I'll get there. If I just get on the right stages, I get in front of the right people, I do the right things, if I help enough people, and this is from a business standpoint, but in business, it might look like over delivering. In your relationship, it might look like, managing the household, the emotions. It might look like, excuse me, control, really trying to control all of the things in your life, needing to be the one that does the things, who handles it, because you think that's what's going to get you to what you want, right? If I just tell my husband I want this, right? And then I tell him exactly what to go do, and I tell him where we need to be and how to do it, because you think that'll make it easier, or you don't say certain things because you're just like, oh, that's just going to complicate things, but then you hold in with the things that you actually want and feel. And that's the same thing in your business. So what it looks like is, again, over delivering services, doing more than you need to, feeling like you constantly have to be on and delivering and doing more, thinking that if you just keep doing this and you get your business to a certain point, eventually you'll get the life that you want. If you keep, for lack of a better term, micromanaging or, mothering your partner, that if you keep asking him what you want, telling him what to do, eventually that he's just going to get it, right? But have you ever realized, like, I've said this a million times and he just doesn't seem to get it and it's not changing? Or, I wanted this business and it was supposed to be easy, and maybe you even experienced that at certain points, but it's just like, I want to make a difference, and I want to have a lot of money, and I want to do these things, but I didn't want it to look like this. Do you ever realize, like, you've gotten to that point where it's like you technically have the things that you want, but it's not the way you want it? Okay, so I see this a lot, and that's why I wanted to talk, and it's the hidden cost of handling it. Because being the one who handles it, being the responsible one, being the, successful one, being the one that does all of the things, oftentimes leads you down a different path than what you actually wanted. And, you know, I think that in order to actually create the thing that you want, there's a huge buzz right now, right out there, about identity and embodiment. And these are like two key pieces of the puzzle. But first of all, you have to actually have the awareness of where are you actually out of alignment with what it is that you want. And I like to talk about this in perspectives of paradigms, because I believe that the new paradigm of success, it's holistic in nature. It's looking at the big picture. It's looking at what's not working in your relationship and your business all at the same time. It's getting the support that you need in those areas at the same time, so that you don't keep looping, so that you don't keep overworking, or so you don't get your business working the way you want, but then your relationship isn't working, or your relationship is great, but you're still fucking working all the time in your business, and then it starts to again have the impact on your relationship, and then you're just in this constant fucking cycle of something's working, something's not, and always fixing and needing to do more and to be the one that's handling everything and in charge and controlling. But the thing that's happening is you can't actually control all of those things. You can't be the one who does everything, and you need the awareness of why you actually do that, feel that, etc., so that you can break that cycle, because you can't stay in that cycle and actually have ease, joy, you know, etc. You can't be thriving in all areas of your life and work and your relationships if you can't see that pattern. So, when people come into my world, that's the first thing that I do with them is I take them through this process of actually seeing, of creating that awareness around where you're living in the old paradigm, where you are not in alignment with the new paradigm for success that you want. And I say new paradigm of success, it's way more than that. Really, it's a much bigger movement, project, etc., because it's not just in your business, it's not just in your relationship. It is the new paradigm of fucking living. And that comes only, you can only sustain that. And I also like to call that, I guess, the new paradigm is the ultimate freedom. That's where you create everything you want. But in order to not just manifest that, but to sustain that, you actually have to go through this process. And it's, my process that I've created to take my clients through. And it's where, first of all, we focus on the seeing, the awareness, and then it's the becoming aspect of it, the identity recoding. And then it's the body recalibration, the embodiment, where you actually stabilize that and anchor that into your body. Because you can't just create the identity and know what you need to do, but not actually embody that, right? You can't just be aware of something, but then not shift your identity. You can't just jump from awareness into embodiment if you haven't actually anchored into the identity of what you want, because all of those things lead to that manifested reality that you say you desire. But without all of those pieces, if you skip one, then you always end up going back, right? And that's what creates those like inevitable fucking loops that you just keep living in. And why, I really believe, the approach to this is the looking at it from the big picture, because that is how you don't just like step into the new paradigm in one area of your life, your business, your work, etc., but how you like jump in full force and then you actually stay there. Because what I see happening and what happened in my own journey too is the yo-yo, right? It's like, okay, I reached my 10K months, I reached my 50K months, I reached my 100K months, whatever it is for you. Now everything is going to be great, right? But then it goes back and it resets, and then you have something else to fix. And then you come back here and it's like, okay, everything's great and working. My relationship's great. Or even it's back to the business, right? Oh, that's working. And then you come back, back and forth, right? So you need to go through this process of the seeing, the becoming, the stabilizing, the living, the sustaining of each of the steps so that you can actually get to that ultimate freedom, the sustaining portion of that, and actually live what it is that you truly desire. And that's the thing that doesn't happen. That cost of actually like handling it, of being the responsible one, of being professional, of doing things. So like if you're just focusing on your business and trying to get that right, you're never going to actually experience the true ease you want in probably even in your business, but definitely not in all aspects of your life. And why this is why I see so many people that like are killing it in their business, right? Like bank account, freaking bang it, and you're working, and it's working. Or again, this can be the same thing, and you have the amazing relationship, but then your business is tanking and isn't working the way you want to. You can't have it all if you're not willing to look at all of you and where you are actually like anchored still into that old paradigm of living, and to have the awareness of what it actually takes to break down that 3D construct, right? And step into a more, if again we're talking 5D, 3D, the 5D way of living, and that is where you aren't living by the rules of having to do more, try more, manage more, handle everything, but instead you actually get to be in that space of actually receiving things, of living that ultimate freedom, of living in that new paradigm where you get to have joy, where you get to have ease, where you get to spend time doing the things you want. You get to travel, you get to go, I'm going doing this next. You get to go to the gym in the middle of the day. You get to, go have fun, and you get to actually enjoy your life. You get paid more for being you. The one of my favorite mantras is, the more I enjoy my life, the more I get paid. And that's what many people that come into my world actually want, is they want a life they love, and a business that supports that, and you don't want to be chained to that. So if you want this type of ease in your life, your relationships, your business, etc., it starts here. It starts with that awareness phase. And this is where, I know I'm kind of focusing on the big process here, but it starts with that quantum awareness, that awareness of expanding out beyond what you have now and being able to see that big view And, if that's something that maybe you aren't able to see for yourself, definitely send me a message. At this point that I'm recording this, I do actually still have some of my what I call unfiltered activation calls available, but where we can take a look and see where you are still in that old construct, in that old paradigm of success, and what needs to actually shift to see what's not working and what needs to shift to get you where you actually want to be, and to be able to do that with ease and to do it more quickly rather than breaking it down and looking at everything, separately. We look at the big picture of what's not working in business, life, career, etc. And what's that common thread? And who do you need to be? And what do you need to do that? And it's not that you need to be someone else because you're already that version of you, but what do you need to do to actually step into that version of you and anchor it in and actually fucking stay there? That's the key, because otherwise, again, you're just yo-yoing all over the fucking place. And we don't want that, right? We want to actually have a great business that we love, doing things we love, doing it in a way that we love, that feels fun, that feels easy, while also living our lives, enjoying it, having the flexibility, the freedom to do the things that we want, feeling like we can show up as ourselves in our life, our business, our work, having the wonderful, thriving relationships, getting to spend our time doing the things that we want. That is the new paradigm, and that is where we're going. And to be honest, I think like that is the way of the future, and that's how we're meant to live. But in order to actually be there, to stay there, to have that ultimate freedom in that manifested reality that you've created, you have to break down the walls from the old paradigm. You have to have that awareness. You have to know why you keep staying it, to identify that paradigm that you're currently in, recognize those constraints, the rules, the things that have kept you there, so that we can break them down and step into that next phase, which is the identity, and then anchoring in and embodying that. So if this has resonated for you, I would definitely recommend that you join me inside the Unfiltered Collective, which is my free Telegram community. There should be a link for you to go ahead and join us there. Also, to send me a message if this is landing with you, because I have lots of really amazing things coming up. My one-on-one right now, I usually open up 1 or 2 spots per month, so I do have a couple of those spots available. Definitely send me a message on that. And I'm also going to be opening up my new space. More to come, and announcing some of my upcoming retreats for this year. There's definitely a Bali retreat, maybe multiple in there, as well as potentially a couple others. So send me a message and join me in one of those spaces. And otherwise, just stay tuned for the next video. Like, subscribe so that you get notified when I create more of these. And, let's just say goodbye to that old fucking paradigm, because it's time for you to step into a new paradigm of living, of success, of being all of you and living life the way that you want on your terms. Talk to you soon.